Welcome back to the Thom Hartmann Program. Tip of the hat. Greetings to our friends listening in New York City now on our newest affiliate, WBAI, 99.5 FM. Okay, in the first hour of our program, we had Congressman Pocan on, taking your calls for the entire hour. In our second hour, we were talking about Trump's essential racism. And in fact, this guy, well, actually, I went on this long rant about how his brazenness is one of the qualities associated with leadership. You see this in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You see this in Jack Kennedy. You see this in LBJ. You see this in FDR. The willingness to step forward and say, yes, this is what I believe in. This is what I'm going to do, regardless of the consequences. The problem is that in the case of Donald Trump, that brazenness is not tempered. He doesn't have the rest of the toolkit. It's not tempered by other personality characteristics that are necessary to moderate it so that brazenness doesn't just turn you into a bully or turn you into a high-functioning sociopath. He doesn't have morality. He doesn't have intelligence. He doesn't have curiosity. He doesn't have introspection. He doesn't have empathy, and he doesn't have foresight. He's lacking these foundational qualities of humanity for whatever reason. I don't want to try to psychoanalyze him here, but I mean, this is just obvious on its face. And the principal weapon that he has wielded, the principal tool that he has used since he first jumped into the race, which, by the way, wasn't actually jumping into the race. It was a PR stunt to get GE to pay him through NBC to pay him as much as they were paying Gwen Stefani. Go check out Michael Moore's documentary, Fahrenheit 11/9. I'm pretty sure it's now available for free on Netflix or Amazon or something. Somebody called the other day and said that they were watching it there. So check it out. I mean, he opens the movie with it. They expected to do the thing in Trump Tower and do 2 rallies, and that was going to be the end of it. And then he was going to say, "Okay, I'm out of here." And instead, he got hooked on the love of the adoration when he laid out his whole racist thing about, Mexicans are rapists and murderers. And then all the white racists came out and said, "Hey, you're our guy. We haven't heard talk like this since George Wallace died." Or since George Wallace got shot. I guess that was the point at which Wallace kind of backed away from many of his positions. But this is bizarre. And then you take that racism and put it on steroids. Donald Trump today, well, let me back up just a little bit. California is, and has been since 2006, so for 12 years now, 13 years, California has been a majority-minority state. White people are less than 50% of the population of California. So, and California has turned into a very blue state. Democrats basically run the whole state. In fact, Republicans lost, 8 or 9 seats in the last House elections there? So, there's all this stuff going on in California that Donald Trump doesn't really like. I mean, the state, if you want to build a new house in California under these new state codes and Gavin Newsom, the new governor pushing this stuff forward, you have to have solar panels on your roof. Elon Musk just rolled out Tesla solar panels. I mean, they've got this new company that's making, roofs for people. And a certain percentage of it is solar, and a certain percentage of it just keeps the fire off or the rain off or whatever. So Trump really doesn't like California. California is defying the fossil fuel oligarchs who are funding the Republican Party and Donald Trump. California is showing us that it is possible for people of different races and religions and people from different cultural backgrounds to not only live together, but prosper together. California is showing us that without partisan gerrymandering, using well-drawn districts, you can have actually a functioning democracy, small d democracy. Donald Trump just can't deal with this. So what did he do today? You'll recall back a few months ago when he was in Europe, he was at one of these, or maybe it was in Argentina, wherever it was. He was at one of these meetings of international leaders, and the president or prime minister of Denmark, as I recall, maybe it was Finland, made a comment to him that Donald Trump interpreted to me, and he had said, "You have a lot of forests," or words to that effect, and this leader said to him in response, "Yeah, you know, we manage our forests really well." And what that means, I mean, Louise and I used to own 400 acres in Vermont, and we had, a guy with a horse, actually 2 horses, who managed the forest. He would, you go in and you take out the trees that are dying, you open up spaces where you've got slow-growing deciduous trees, oaks and beech and things like that. You take out the faster-growing pines around them so that they can get more light, so they can prosper. I mean, there's a process that you engage in to maintain a forest. And if you do that in Vermont, you get a 25% reduction in your property taxes. So forest management is important stuff. And by the way, most of the forests in California are federal land. And the federal government does practice some forest management. But somehow Trump got the idea that what forest management means is you rake the leaves. No, seriously, I'm not making this up. This is another one of the problems. When I said he's got brazenness, which is, a characteristic you find in, great leaders, but he's lacking foresight, empathy, introspection, morality, curiosity, but most importantly, intelligence. This guy does not have the intellect of an average 7th grader. So he thought that the prime minister or president of the Scandinavian country was telling him, "Oh, you don't want to have forest fires? Rake the leaves." So this morning, now California just suffered through some of the worst wildfires in not just California history, but in the history of the United States. Over 80 people dying in just one town. An entire town, Paradise, California, just burned to the ground. They are not just still suffering from this, and not just starting to put themselves back together, but they need to be planning for more of this, because this has been caused by global climate change. Another thing that Donald Trump denies happens because he wants to keep the money flowing from the billionaire oligarchs, the petro-billionaire oligarchs. So he tweets this morning that he's going to cut off the Fema money to California if they don't start raking their damn leaves. Really? He says, "Unless they get their act together, which is unlikely, I have ordered FEMA to send no more money. It is a disgraceful situation in lives and money." This is bizarre. Here's the exact tweet. "Billions of dollars are sent to the state of California for forest fires that, with proper forest management, would never happen. Unless they get their act together, which is unlikely, I've ordered FEMA to send no more money. It's a disgraceful situation in lives and money." Well, first of all, those are federal forest lands, in most cases, that we're burning. That's your property, Donald Trump. You should be having a conversation with your new director of the Department of Interior, which manages those federal forest lands. Oh, that's right, the guy's a lobbyist for the oil and gas industry. He doesn't know anything about forests, and he doesn't care anything about forests. He just is wondering if there's oil or gas under those forests so that he can privatize them. Gavin Newsom, who had just sworn in as governor in California, says, we've been put in office by the voters to get things done, not to play games with lives. And then he goes on to say, he says, "Disasters and recovery are no time for politics. I'm already taking action to modernize and manage our forests and emergency responses. The people of California, folks in paradise, should not be victims to partisan bickering." Amen. But this is what we've got in the White House right now. We have this man who has the one out of 15 or 20 characteristics that make a decent human being and a good politician, has this one characteristic of brazenness, and is lacking in every other dimension, and is putting not just our republic, but the entire world at risk. Check out arctic-news.blogspot.com if you want more detail on what I'm talking about in that context. We'll be back.